buying like a pro and not like a rookie. Because when you're about to buy a property, imagine just buying something that you're not 100% sure that you made the right call, Brandy. This video is gonna change how you look at every property from this point forward. Because here's what nobody tells you. The difference between a rookie buyer and a professional, it is not the budget, it's not the connection, it's the process they follow before they ever make an offer. So if you skip that process, you will be doing a huge mistake that will cost you money every single time, even if it's not, even if you're not a first time buyer, even if it's your third or fourth property, you will always see that there's something that you're missing, and here is where you will learn it. So today we are walking you through Amor Amar's 5-step system, which is the exact framework we use before recommending any property to any client. And by the end of this video, you will have it too. Even though, guys, you're not even working with us and you're working with a broker that is not knowledgeable and has no idea what he's doing, you will love it because it has everything you need to know before you make a mistake. Okay, so I'm Carla Torres. I am the CEO of Amor Amar, and with me is Brandy Fry. We're both certified agents here in Riviera Maya, and we will help you do the best you can to select the property. So, Brandy, how does a rookie is different from a professional when buying a property?
Right. So first time buyers, or like Carla mentioned, buyers who want to make better decisions, or buyers who've already made a mistake and don't want to give up on real estate, we're going to go through our 5-step program. And step 1 is always setting clear expectations.
Exactly.
So choosing a destination that doesn't match your lifestyle will always cost you long-term happiness. And you'll feel disconnected from the investment you made. Picture a retiree purchasing in the trendiest, most party-heavy area of Tulum.
Like La Veleta, for example.
Yes, when their ideal spot would be in a quiet retirement community, maybe somewhere like Puerto Morelos.
Mm-hmm.
So how you identify the right destination based on your profile, whether you're a retiree, you're a family that's relocating, it's pure investment, or like a mixed vacational use and investment property, is what will pay off in the end. And we actually have a video already up on YouTube that walks you through all the different destinations here in the Riviera Maya.
Exactly.
And helps you make the best decision.
Yes, go look for it. It is a great video. We go through the differentiation from infrastructure, who the population is, what the lifestyle is. So that is the first step. And actually, before we do that, Brandy, come a little bit closer so you can be there on the Instagram account. So we're going to go through all of these 5 steps. This is choose a location by purpose. All of this, let me show you here pretty fast. It's a set of 5 steps. So before we go into each 5 steps, we have to have a clear knowledge of what we want, right? So one of the things that Brandy said is, of course, having the destination clear, yes. But once you know where you want to be, the next thing that will completely derail you from, making a mistake is knowing your budget, but not the number that you have in mind, your real number. Because there's people that ignore the real budget and it costs them a huge amount of time and money. Because remember, there's closing costs, furniture, any extra fee that can make your budget or the cost of the property go 25% over your real limit. You might fall in love with a property that you actually cannot afford. So we've had these situations before as listing agent, that suddenly a client backs up. The buyer's agent tells us, hey, he's not gonna buy. And I say, why? Oh, he wasn't expecting that he had to pay the taxes. For example, it's like, why you as a buyer's agent did not explain this to your buyer, right? So discovering that you will not be able to afford furniture, the notary fees, because you are on the max. Now you have to start over, or imagine even worse, like just searching forever in a price range that will get you that will never get you what you want. For example, not being clear about the budget with your broker. So the real formula for you to have the budget clear is the purchase price plus the closing cost plus the furniture plus all the operational little costs that you might have. That is your number before you open any property search. Something very, very important also is to understand or to have a clear side on if you are liquid of that money or do you need a mortgage. And that is a whole other video that we already did, and you can see in detail how to get financing here in Mexico and what exactly is the process of a foreigner buying here in Mexico and what exactly are the closing costs. We do have a video, so go and search on our YouTube channel if you need it.
Yes. Okay, so now we have the destination, we have the budget, and sometimes this is exactly where things start to fall off, and that is seeing too much and actually losing the good opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So without clear criteria, you can look at properties for forever. They're endless, and having too many options can actually paralyze you.
Yeah.
So, and then you end up missing out on the real opportunities that are there. So, one example that we just recently had at Amor Amar is we had a client, we were sending her lots of options. She wasn't sure what her non-negotiables were, what she was willing to sacrifice and what she wasn't willing to give up. And no properties were meeting her exact expectations. And after sending her so many properties, she realized that in the first batch of options was the property she wanted, and she ended up missing out on it because it was no longer on the market.
So what is the solution for that, Brandy?
So define your search before you start. So like what three things or what two things are non-negotiable for you that you have to have in your property, and what other ones are you able to be a little bit more flexible in? So you're trying to use that as your filter instead of having a wish list.
Okay.
And we actually we just recently did a video on this topic as well, helping you filter out what is most important to you versus what you can be a little bit flexible on.
So in this, we just talked about the segment of setting up your expectations correctly with your budget, with the right destination, and with what are your non-negotiable and where are you flexible when seeing property. Now, after that, we are going to go, and let me show you right here. Now we're going to go to the 5 steps. The 5 steps to have, and what can you do better in each step so that you can make the right decision and you can be a pro on this. So the first step, I'm going to put it here, is setting the clear expectations that we just did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, important second one is, Brandy?
Choose your location by purpose.
By purpose. And that is very, very important, guys. Oops, what happened here? Okay, good. So what does choosing your location by purpose mean? Brandy? Okay. You're like, it's your turn. Okay, so location can, like, if you want an ROI, or you want to come here, you want to come here as vacation, and you want to be walking distance to everything, or you actually want to relocate here. Let me take this so that you can see us completely right here. Yes. Okay. So if you are it depends on the purpose that you want. If you want a quiet retirement, imagine ending on a tourist trip. Like for example, I don't know, the 12th Street in Playa del Carmen with Cocobongo noise right there, and you just wanted to retire and sleep with silent. The wrong environment changes your outcome completely. So relocating with your family in a tourist area can create a chaotic morning. Like if you want to take your kids to school, for example, the morning traffic of a touristic area, that there's no schools nearby, there's party noise at night. What looked convenient becomes a daily stress. So it is very important that you choose the location based on purpose. If it's a vacation home, if you're relocating, also identifying the different types of location. If you're in a gated community versus a local neighborhood, if you want the tourist zone versus a residential zone, and the criteria that actually matter. No, if you're walking this distance to all the essentials, or actually you want to be completely secluded because you want to have this experience of like just hearing the birds and not hearing any traffic. So that is very, very important, and that is the second step, which is location. Now, Brandy, let's go to the third one. This is the second one. Now let's go to the third one, which is
how to evaluate your property when you are on your property tours.
This is very important, guys.
Yes. So this is what you need to be looking at when you begin your property tours. So the types of decisions that will follow you forever: the building orientation, noise, construction, quality, privacy. So these cannot be fixed. Ignoring any of them come at a real cost on your lifestyle and your rental performance.
It's true.
So quality versus space. So as a quick example, you are somebody that has a fixed budget, you already have the area picked out, and there is developer A who offers super high quality, but you're only able to afford a 1-bedroom within your budget. Or developer B who use cheaper materials, they've optimized the layout, and within your budget you're able to get 2 bedrooms. So which do you choose if you don't know how to evaluate?
If it's in the same location, the difference will be maybe the quality construction, but what will you give more value to, correct?
Exactly. So construction quality, architecture design, orientation, views, layout, privacy, the position of a unit if you're in a building.
If it's located west, for example, the orientation that you have all the sun.
Exactly. So these are all things that you cannot change. So again, looking back at your negotiables, if you hate waking up with the sun in your eyes in the morning and that's the sunlight that's pouring into your bedroom, or if you don't want to be on the ground floor because
of the noise of the pool, for example.
Yeah, so these are all, you have to separate the things that you're able to change versus the things that you're not able to change in a property.
And the way to do it, Brandy, is also having a checklist. Like you need to do the checklist of the things that you cannot change. That is one of the most important things, because it's not like you can change the common pool that is just exactly in front of you and you didn't even realize the noise that it could have in your apartment. That could be an example, no? So that is something to do. That is the things that you don't change. Now, what to protect is what just Brandy said, but let's talk about what buyers get wrong on the other side. Walking away from great opportunities or properties for the wrong reasons. Guys, this happens a lot. There's people that miss great opportunities over cosmetic details. Like you have to focus on what cannot be changed. But if you focus on the little things that can be changed, that can change, like for example, the style, the decor, this will make you overlook the real potential of opportunities, even though that it checks all the things that you wanted, which is location, size, price point, you can walk away from the right property for the wrong reason. Remember your one of your first clients long ago, Randy, that she had like she was sending the on the first batch of properties that you sent. I remember there was the second one that checked every box. She couldn't get any better. She had the price point, she had the location, she had the views, remember? But she couldn't get past the interior design. And even though at first it wasn't like you had the whole experience, so you kept, sending options and sending options. And by the time you realized, and she realized that there was not other property better than that, and you explained that it was an interior design that could be easily changed with a little amount of money, when she went back to want to offer to that property, the property was already gone.
Yeah, so you end up having a permanent loss over something that was temporary that you could easily change.
Exactly. So you have to have also the criteria of and knowing exactly what can actually be changed. As we said, interior design, furniture, even for example the privacy, like, oh no, I have a balcony and then I see the pool over there, I'm in a second or third level, but I see the pool, so I don't have any privacy. Easy, on your balcony you put some planters and then you have that privacy, for example. So you have to learn how to separate the cosmetic from the characteristics that cannot be changed before you walk away from something that actually works.
Yes. And then here is our next step.
Our next step now is something very important, which is this one, which is the property.
I think that's still 3.
This is 3. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, so the property tool.
Yes. How to show up like a pro.
How to show up like a pro when you are already in the destination looking at properties.
Yes. So, okay, so now we know what we're looking for. We're actually going on our property tours, but how you actually physically show up changes what you see. So, I feel like when a lot of people come, they're maybe not physically prepared, and then you end up making decisions based on emotion and stress, not clarity. So the environment of the tour affects your perception way more than you think. It's hot in the Riviera Maya, especially now as we're going into summer. It's humid. You're gonna be sweaty. You're gonna be wet. You're gonna be hot. So making sure that you show up in a way that you can fully enjoy the tour and focus on what's in front of you opposed to how you're feeling is super important. Another example that we just recently had, so a cool, well-staged property can feel perfect. Yeah. You're hot, you're sweating, you walk into a cold place.
It's like, oh.
It feels refreshing, it feels beautiful, and immediately you can be like, okay, well, this is the one. Opposed to maybe a property that's under construction, doesn't have AC, doesn't have airflow. It's hard. You don't even really want to be in the space. So then it's hard to see where the actual opportunity is. So if you show up ready and prepared, you're going to be showing up to be making the important decisions. So
exactly. So imagine that the hot opportunity that you went through, just because you are just like sweating and suffocating, you didn't even realize that property was a lot better in the characteristics than the cooler one that only made you feel fresh,
good in the moment,
or like a satisfying sensation. So what would be a solution for that, Brenda?
Yeah, so we always will pack snacks, we'll pack refreshments. We recommend our clients wear light clothing, time meals, stay hydrated, and just showing up, arriving in a state where you can actually evaluate the properties. And like, for example, we just recently had a tour on a project that was under construction. I knew it was going to be hot in there. I knew there was no AC. I knew there was no airflow. So I tried to pack cold towels to give out to the clients so they could try and keep themselves cool while we were in there and evaluating the property.
And if your broker is not preparing for that, prepare yourself, because I know of clients that maybe come with their babies, with kids, or with the grandma or whatever, and then they are completely stressed out because of the situation of others, and they are not concentrating on the opportunity of what they are seeing. So prepare for that. And something very, very important is also the attitude, guys. Opportunities are not here forever. Like, if you see a good opportunity, you have to be in the attitude of finding the opportunity. Okay. So so while you are feeling clear-headed, okay, here is the most important part. While you are in the tour, you have to ask the important questions that buyers normally don't, they forget to ask, or they don't even know what to ask. So imagine you are like in a property, right? And you're exploring it, you're like searching for all the elements that we just talked before about, the things that you cannot change. You're looking at the view, you're looking at the materials, you're looking at this and that, but you are not expressing, right? Because it's very important to go in and obviously feel. How do you feel? How is your sensation? Many people go by their own instinct. No, I feel good, I feel here. But even though that you're feeling right, ask the right questions, because there could be small unresolved concerns that will become the objections that you didn't even know that it could be super simple to solve. So I don't know. Let me give you an example of like an HOA that seems expensive. Oh, okay, what is the HOA? Oh, whatever is this, and then you have the idea, and it's like, oh no, it's so expensive. It's like just asking about, what does the HOA include? Sometimes the HOA is including the cleaning of your penthouse pool, that it's an extra cost in other properties. Or sometimes it could include the amenities that you are actually paying in your hometown separately. For example, if you love paddleboard, if you love a spa, if you love the gym, and you're paying individually for that, and then it adds up in the HOA, then you realize, and you're like, okay, maybe the HOA is not that expensive, right? So if I think the lack of context and the lack of knowing and asking the right questions in the moment is something that will that you can regret when you realize it was a really good opportunity and you just didn't ask the question. So what are the questions that people like the pro buyers will ask for? First of all, is the furniture included? The closets are included, because sometimes you go into the showroom and you see the closets and the mirrors and the glass in the shower and all of this and that, and then you realize that all of that is not even included, and that's an extra cost. Is the parking titled? Do you have a space for parking? Sometimes you don't even realize, and then, oh, I fell in love with the property, but I didn't know that I now have to pay a parking fee every time that I park. Or something very important, Brandy, are the amenities in the regimen, or are they completely separate? Yes, sometimes they will sell you a project with these amazing amenities, and you will do this and you will do that, and then you realize that the amenities are owned by the developer and you don't owe them. So every time that you want to use them, there is an extra cost, and that is important. Now, another question that is very important, and that I see that many North Americans won't ask because they feel it's, or they think it's obvious, because obviously in US or most developed countries or cities, even in Mexico, you have a water system, you have the correct sewage system, you have everything connected. And here in developing destinations, for example, even in Tulum, Mahahual, Bacalar, there's a lot of things that are not included. So ask about the water system, if there's sewage system, are solar panels allowed, the history of major issues, all of that. There's a list of questions that we can send you, and we do have, if you email us, and we'll send you all of our checklists so that you can evaluate as a pro. So You've done everything right up to now. You showed up prepared with the right attitude. You asked the right questions. You evaluated what really matters. Now comes the hardest part of all, actually deciding. And this is where I see that even the most prepared buyers, Brandy, completely freeze. And I'm going to show you here our last step just for you to be in following up with us.
That's
Okay,
support.
so what happens? What happens in this step, Brandy?
We didn't show the step. We showed step 4.
Oh, give me 1 second then. Here, this one, right?
No.
Uh, okay.
Yes.
There was. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Perfect. So this one, let me show it again. Technical problems as always. Okay, so how to make the right decision? Important. Let's see, Brandy. You tell me.
Yes. Okay. So, like Carla mentioned, we've gotten to the last stage, making your decision and whether or not you feel sure. So, the moment that it comes time to put in an offer, there becomes like this pressure. If there's a real sense of urgency, if you feel like you're being pushed. So I just completely lost my train of thought there. So
Where are we? No,
so you're making your
yes.
decision. It comes to a point where like you're not sure. A lot of brokers will use the tactic of like creating this urgency, or you feel like you're being pushed, or like the fear of missing out, the opportunity will be gone.
The typical tactic of any real estate agent that at the end is a seller, he will start to push you to make a decision and be like, put the reservation, let's make an offer. And then you suddenly feel mega overwhelmed.
Yes.
Right?
So, but the reality is that opportunities don't wait. So, in active markets, waiting just a little longer is exactly what buyers do, and then they end up with nothing. So, there is a cost to time.
It's true. Now, however, even though that we know that the opportunities don't wait, you still don't want to get a decision just because of pressure and just because someone is telling you it's gonna go, it's gonna be sold, because then sometimes there's two ways, like people doing the wrong decision and deciding for something that they didn't really feel and they didn't really analyze, and there's other people that will just decide not to decide. Decide
Yes.
not to decide and be there and be frozen, and there will be the ones that will need more time.
Yes.
Right.
So something I always like to ask my client is, if you lost this opportunity, how would you feel?
That is one of the best questions that we can use when you feel like a little bit freezed, because it will give you the two outcomes.
Exactly. If you're okay to lose it, maybe you feel relief from not having to make a decision right away. It's like, okay, that one's not your property. We can look at others. We're going to find the right one for you.
And if we search for more and you now realize that that one is a good opportunity, then maybe you come back and there it is. And if not, well, you won't feel bad if you lose it because you just said it, right?
Exactly. And then if your answer is, yeah, like I would feel upset if I lost this opportunity,
but I'm not ready to make a decision, but I might feel.
Then it's like our job to, what can we give you that would reassure you in making this decision so that you don't lose the opportunity?
That is very important, because the right broker will give you the tools for you to have a decision well thought of. However, if you don't have the right broker, or you're working by yourself or whatever, there's a few examples that will help. There's a ton of different examples. Either you create a comparison between price per square meter or price per square footage, underlying the benefits versus the things that you don't like. Go back to the characteristics, which are, what are the things that I cannot change? What are the things that I can change? Is there a better opportunity as of right now? Like all of that, there's a ton of different tools that will help you out make the decision, and at the end just use them. Use them and understand that yes, the opportunities have caducidad, fecha de caducidad, expiry date. Exactly. Now, if you're genuinely not sure because you're having like cold feet, or you feel bad when deciding fast, remember that deciding under pressure can always be regret. Remember that a closing can trap you. You have to be very conscious. You have to meditate about it. So again, do your pros and cons list, price per square meter comparison. Do a second visit, guys. This is super important so that you can identify again and go with another attitude with other people. Bring your friends also, like make a Zoom call with your mom, your father, to get like different opinions. But don't let that being a personality that it's undecisive, like many people, which is normal, get you off from a really good opportunity. So you have to identify what kind of buyer are you. Are you analytical or intuitive? And work with that. It's just about following some processes and tools for you to feel better.
So there you have it. Those are your 5 steps to go from a rookie to a pro before you even make an offer.
I love it. And guys, this is just part 1, because selecting the right property is half of the battle. We are not yet there to like closing the deal. What happens after you decide the property is very important, and it is where many buyers leave money on the table. So we'll go through how to make an offer to purchase, how to negotiate the best deal, how to build the right due diligence team, for example, and how to work with the right broker and how to ask the right questions during a closing, guys, so that you can save money and you can understand everything. There's a lot of things that I've seen in my transactions when I'm a listing agent, for example, and I see other buyer's agent, that the buyer's agents will just like throw everything to the attorney and make them close, and you just tell me when I go to the closing and I'm there. No, your broker has to be there and has to ask for things that not even the notary or the lawyer is asking for, and it will save you a lot of time and money. So this will be in our next video. So don't forget to subscribe and to be pendant about it, because it's gonna be a super nice what happened here, a super nice video, and this is gonna be the next section. All right, so let's see if we have fan number 1. Mark, thank you very much. Okay, hello. Okay, so guys, let me see if we have any other right here in our Instagram again. A lot of people came in. That's great, guys. I would love for you to, if you have any other questions, remember, and if you want to start the process with us, for sure, contact us here, or you can contact us here also, or you can contact us right here. All right? Here?
No.
You cannot see it? Well, whatever. realestateamoramar.com, and we will be happy to help you out. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.